Thank you for checking out crypto.chartguys.com, the source for technical analysis in the cryptocurrency world. We are proud to announce our own crypto alert system designed to give you the most critical technical trading information possible no matter where you are. Keep your eyes on the market with mobile or email alerts for MACD crosses, RSI levels, and even inside bar alerts for dozens of coins across multiple exchanges. New features and proprietary ChartGuys indicators are already in development. Our alert system is very easy to customize and utilize, so don't hesitate to sign up for the most effective crypto trading tool on the market at crypto.chartguys.com. Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. So last night we got hit with some FUD and it made my video from last night obsolete in about 10 minutes. So I did that video and there were no red flags and the setup was still there and the higher lows were still there. Uploaded the video 10 minutes later. The first sign that I saw was spikes of bear volume on the 1 minute time frame, and we'll look at that in just a moment. Those were the initial signs. Another thing that's important to note, these major articles, they're on CNN, CNBC, all the major players. And what they're doing is obviously going for the flashiest title and the most clicks. We know this game. And as of right now, we know that this news is not significant. We're seeing news out of South Korea that this, nothing is certain. And we're seeing people talk about the odds that it is just likely going to be as it was in the past in terms of regulating things and putting the crackdown in terms of, unregulated. We got some members that have family in South Korea or that, read South Korean newspapers. And essentially what was going on is they banned people from joining exchanges, and then people were just taking people's money and adding it to exchanges like a tree underneath them, so to speak, just using their account for multiple people. So there has to be some crackdown in the space and some regulation, and there's going to be approved exchanges, in my opinion, that can trade. But they put out these news articles to get clicks that say, South Korea is going to ban all crypto trading. And at this point, that does not seem likely at all. And again, we have multiple South Korean sources, and you can look online and now see that things are starting to calm down and people are realizing that, yeah, that was clearly just, over-exaggerated by the media. Another thing to note, a member had this article up overnight. They changed the title of the article to put Ethereum in. Before that, Ethereum was not mentioned. So now they're trying to target Ethereum in terms of FUD. It's just really interesting to watch this all occur. I don't think there's malicious intent in terms of, CNBC shorting Ethereum and then doing this, but I do think that they're going to say whatever they need to get the most clicks. And here I am clicking the article, but that's the way it goes. So now things have settled down a little bit. We got an all-out dump. So we knew that we always know to be looking for news when everything dumps at the same time. The big three, BCH and altcoins, when they all dump, we know there's news behind it, and we know that the large volume is usually a reason to be looking for news as well. So the alerts were firing off like crazy. That's another thing. If we start to see, 15-minute bearish price shears on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin all coming in at the same time, we know there's a market event going on. And just to touch in on those alerts, we're going to be adding volume alerts, multiple different kinds of volume alerts, sometime likely next week. So if you are a premium member, those will just get added in terms of you being able to apply that to all your coin choices, and just going to be another really beneficial tool to utilize for alerts. And we're going to continue chugging away and adding more. So looking at the daily chart for Bitcoin, we are still holding a daily higher low. The setup was beautiful. I still liked that setup. And that just goes to show you stop losses. And again, a lot of people are getting stuck in positions right now, and it feels terrible and they feel sick to their stomachs. And it's the kind of thing where you have people like me trying to teach people technical analysis and saying you must use stop losses. That is rule number one. And people still don't use it. And I understand why not. And I also understand that I had to go through the hard lesson as well. When I started trading, I've had all of those terrible feelings. I held positions in the penny stock world when I first started trading that literally went down to worthless. They started at $5,000 or whatever, then they went to 4, 3, 2, and I just held on and went through all those emotions. So when I talk about all this stuff, it's all stuff that I've lived through, and I understand why you're doing it and why you don't put a stop loss in. But I also understand that if you don't learn from these mistakes and don't try and, prevent from this terrible, sickening feeling in your stomach, that you will not be a trader for long. You have to learn from your mistakes. You have to start implementing stop losses. So in my video yesterday, I liked everything about it. I liked the setup. I liked my Litecoin position. I liked my Bitcoin position. And I got stopped out of all of those for small losses. But what that allowed was for me to have cash to play these bounces. And I played 3 different Ethereum flips for bounces. And that small loss very quickly turned into some decent profit because I had that cash available to trade with. So not only are you stuck in a position and losing money, but you're missing out on the opportunity to benefit from these bounces. And when you see the market dump and you're still making money and in the green, that is definitely a very comforting thing. So again, if you're one of these people stuck in positions, I just cannot stress stop losses enough. It's very easy for people to say, you know, well, I get stopped out and then it always bounces back. In the long run, I promise if you want to do this long term, you have to utilize stop losses. I've never met a trader that does it for a living that does not use stop losses. That's the only way that you can manage risk, because something comes out of left field, out of nowhere like this, and can completely ruin setups, and it has nothing to do with technical analysis. Obviously, technical analysis is not telling us everything we need to know. News is a factor, and it cannot be accounted for on the charts. So let's look at Bitcoin on the hourly time frame, or the daily to start. So we did not confirm the bullish reversal hammer. We headed down. Support is still 12,500. We dropped down to 12,800. So that support is still holding at this point, and the bulls need to turn things around, and they have to do it on the 4-hour time frame. We saw the top of the bounce from last night, really nice oversold bounce, 12,800 all the way up to 14,200. That's a $1,400 bounce. That's over 10% in less than 12 hours. Again, those are big time gains. You're not going to see Bitcoin unless we get news like Amazon or something like that. You're not going to see Bitcoin break out and run 10% in 12 hours. The odds of seeing that happen are very unlikely, but you'll see it all the time on oversold dumps and bounces. The quickest and largest gains that you will see come from these scenarios. So at this point, we have the high of the bounce, and then we start pulling back, and everybody says, uh-oh, here we go again. I thought FUD was over. I thought, you know, there wasn't too much legitimacy to these articles. And we're trying to form a higher low on the 4-hour time frame. We have to form a higher low and then break the lower highs in order to change this trend. We haven't really broken lower highs at this point. We have a high here up at 15,384. This was a bounce attempt that topped out at 15,029. This was a bounce attempt at 14,970. Now another lower high, 14,193. So you get the idea. We have not broken the 4-hour lower high pattern at this point. We have to form a higher low and a higher high. That's what I was going to be looking for yesterday, but the dump ruined that. So now we have to start all over again. Bulls need to hold this low and try and break this resistance overnight and head back to the upside and see a bullish MACD cross on the 4-hour time frame if we are able to do that. So the hourly chart, we can see the details, higher lows and higher highs on the bounce, bearish reversal, spinning top candlestick, inside bar, bear break at 13,895. If you have an hourly Bitcoin alert for an inside bar set, you got a bear break and it alerted you to the pullback. Another inside bar, actually I take that back, that little one's not, but what we're watching for is turnaround for the bulls to try and make a recovery back up towards 14,000, because if we continue to fade, it is significantly bearish. And if we break that daily support of 12,500, we have very little support until down at 10,000. That would be significantly bearish as well. So it's pretty important tonight that the bulls continue to hold on and try and turn things back around, because this could very easily get ugly again. And again, just because the news has worn off doesn't mean that the market has to respond bullish. We have to be protective still in this scenario. So checking in on the shorter term time frames, let's look at that 1-minute chart where the first red flags came in. And before I even knew there was news, I put my video out and I uploaded it, and I immediately put a comment on the video and said, look at this 1-minute bear attack, caution out there. And then I saw the news maybe 5-10 minutes later. So I recognized it on the charts before I saw it anywhere else. And here it is. Look at the volume on the 1-minute chart and look at this spike. It just completely dumped out of nowhere. Clearly a lot of market orders triggered in 1 minute, 118 volume, where the average volume before that was about 12 coins a minute. And here we go seeing 10 times that volume in 1 minute, dumping support. And then we saw it again. And this is when the market started realizing, oh, we got bearish news. And then it was all bear from there. So the first signal was a spike in bear volume on the 1-minute time frame. And I only looked at that because I saw the spike on the 5-minute time frame, and I wanted some more details to see where that volume was. And I could see it was one order here and some stops triggering. So that, again, I saw it on the chart before I saw the news. So checking in on the alert system and how it factored into Bitcoin on the 15-minute time frame yesterday, look at the first bearish price shear that went out Again, this was before we broke the higher low pattern. So it was a bit of an early signal that the bears were coming in. And again, with the new volume indicators that are coming out, this would be an abnormal volume indicator on this dump. And then it only became a waterfall of an all-out dump. And again, that bounce opportunity followed it. So these abnormal volume indicators are going to tell us two things. They're going to tell us a volume climax is at the top and volume climax is at the bottom, and when there's a lot of activity. So that combined with RSI levels or combined with price shear levels is going to be very useful, where if you have, if you get an hourly RSI signal that's oversold, and then you get a signal that there's abnormal hourly volume, you know that a bounce is likely coming in the near term, as we're going to be looking for a volume climax. ETH, bearish reversal shooting, or a bearish reversal spinning top yesterday, confirmed today with further pullback. This is normal and healthy. We are very due for consolidation. We've been due for days, and we could pull back to 900 and still be an extremely strong uptrend. So let's just sit on that for a moment. We could pull back 20% from where we currently stand on Ethereum and still be extremely strong on the daily chart. This line is right above 900. We could pull back and form a higher low and be just fine. So keep that in perspective. We are nowhere near changing from a bullish trend on Ethereum. So we have lost momentum and the bounces are not as significant. And we have, those articles targeting Ethereum. And I'm going to be very patient waiting for my reentry. But when I am looking for a reentry, once this wears off and the bulls show back up, it's such a more bullish chart than the other names out there that I would be looking for a higher low to form on the daily time frame and a bullish entry to be looking for the bulls to head back and perhaps form an equilibrium pattern. So let's say we pull back to 1,000 and we'll be looking for a higher low on the daily, a bounce, and then a lower high and a tightening equilibrium pattern. That's what I'm keeping an eye out for on Ethereum. But again, we could drop 20% over the next 5 days, and there's still not much concern for the long-term bulls. This daily chart was going to take a lot of bearish action to destroy this daily chart and to shift it to bearish. It's not going to happen anytime soon. It would have to take a couple weeks to play out unless we were to see some insanely bearish news. Litecoin on the daily time frame, very similar to Bitcoin. We had the bullish reversal candlestick that was negated. The key support to hold is 206, and we're forming a higher low compared to that level currently. Obviously, the bulls are not comfortable. We are close to a bullish MACD cross, but unless we see a bullish reversal candlestick confirmed, we're not going anywhere for the bulls. We have our low of the pullback. That's down here at 219.07, the high of the bounce. And I need to go back to Ethereum. I skipped some shorter term time frames there. So we got a support of 219.07, resistance of 240.142, and now we're looking for that higher low on the 4-hour time frame. Bulls ideally want to hold 226.33 and have that be the higher low. So we have to see follow through. Hourly time frame topped out, inside bar bear break, same as Bitcoin. This signal went out at 236.38 and we have pulled back from there. So the bulls trying to turn things around, not seeing much confidence at this point, and very patient. My criteria right now, I changed my rules where I'm not trading anything unless the 15-minute RSI is oversold at a bare minimum. We're nowhere near seeing bull breaks on the chart that would have me looking to enter bullish positions. So at this point, I'm either just sitting here waiting for the bulls to get their act together more significantly, or I'm patiently waiting for the RSI to hit oversold, but the 15-minute RSI has to be oversold at a bare minimum. The ETH bulls had plenty of bounces on 5-minute RSI, oversold without the 15-minute needed on this uptrend, but we're no longer in an uptrend and the market conditions have shifted. So again, I'm tightening my criteria and I'm going to slow down trading. I was trading all the time in this bull move for Ethereum, and now we're in a different market. And if I were to trade the same amount of times, I would give back a lot of profit. I'm going to be trading about 20% as much on this consolidation as I was on the way up. So Ethereum's tightening range, I completely skipped. We got support down here at 1,110. We've got the high of the bounce resistance at 1244.99, so 1245. And the bulls are trying to form their higher low. Again, you can see the correlation with the other names. 1141.20 is that level. Have to form a higher low on the 4-hour time frame, but you could make the argument that this is shaping up like a bearish reversal head and shoulders pattern on this 4-hour time frame. And a break of 1,110 would be a break of the neckline and confirm it. Hourly time frame for Ethereum, almost a double top at the high of the bounce. Bitcoin had a more significant bounce than Ethereum did, which was another clue that things are slowing down. And the 15-minute time frame, again, oversold is where we're looking for the bounces. So when we were at the low of this candlestick, the 15-minute time frame was oversold, and there was a very solid bounce. In a half an hour, we went from 1141 to 11. We had a $50 bounce, 4.5% bounce in 30 minutes, signaled by 15-minute RSI heading down into oversold. So again, very picky and very, I guess, picky on these trades. So Litecoin, look at how the alerts would have gone out for Litecoin. 30-minute bearish price shear went out, but well before the higher low pattern was lost on the 30-minute time frame. So the 30-minute higher low was down here in the 237s, and this bearish price shear alert showing a dump was starting went out in the 242s. So almost a $5 heads up before the higher low broke, and then the bear volume poured in after the price shear signal already went out. Checking in on Ripple, I've been trading XRP BTC. We had news come out with a company, MGI. Tried to trade the stock MGI today because it had significant upside. Took a small loss first thing in the morning on MGI. Wasn't liking the setup. Let's look at that chart as well. Might as well. And again, if you're learning technical analysis on cryptocurrencies, it absolutely can be applied to stocks. So we started, there's where the news came out. Look at this pre-market action, a run up to 17 from 13, and then it calmed down. And then once the open, the bell rang here, and I looked for a bull move, trying to get a continuation up towards $15. And as soon as we broke this support, I exited for a small loss. And then I went over to Ripple because I saw Ripple was seeing more bullish action. So I made back the loss and then some in Ripple instead. So I've been trading XRP BTC. The news that came out is that they're, working with, I forget the name of the company, MoneyGram, MGI. Either way, look it up, MoneyGram International. So bullish news, that put a stop to consolidation. That had the bulls say, okay, we're done consolidating. Our new higher low is 11.77 on the daily. But you can also see we're seeing a significant amount of profit taking. The bulls saw their run, and now we're consolidating. 4-hour time frame is giving us inside bars. When I see 4-hour inside bars, I say, we must be forming an equilibrium pattern somewhere. So I look at the hourly time frame, and I see an equilibrium pattern with our high. Low of the pullback is key support down here, and that is at 11 or 14.2, and our lower high is set here at 15.6, and we're close to making a bear break right now. So I see this support coming up, and I look and say, okay, are we oversold to make me want to make an entry on this support? And we're not oversold enough for me to be interested on that entry. We're close on the 5-minute, but I want the 15-minute RSI oversold as well. So we'll see if the bulls are able to maintain inside this pattern still. If we get a clear bear break, obviously we have further consolidation coming. The trades that I made an initial bullish entry on the hype, was quick to take profit. I made 2 entries on the way up. Quick to take profit because I knew once the top was in, it would be significant consolidation. I then made an entry here looking for the shift and for the higher low to be found on the hourly. And then I exited anticipating a lower high was going to form. So I made my second trade based completely off, it was actually the third trade, based completely off of anticipation of an hourly equilibrium pattern. It dictated my comfortability with an entry because the RSI levels were oversold on this initial time. And then it dictated my exit because I knew we were very unlikely to head right back up to the recent high. The volume was not there to back it up, and we're going to form an equilibrium pattern. So we'll see how we break here on Ripple. Bulls are trying to defend this support, and there's a lack of support underneath it. Let's just check on XRP USD real quick as a comparison, and we're right there on that support, 190. Break 190, and we're going to have to establish a new higher low. There's no support clear until down in the 160s. So the price shears for XRP USD on the 30-minute time frame, and we actually got the 15-minute shears drawn here as well, but a bull move on the 15-minute bull break. Look at the volume indicator. So the volume indicators are going to also be able to tell you potential news releases. So the bearish volume indicators last night would have let us know bad news is out, and the abnormal volume combined with bullish indicators and bullish price shears for XRP let us know that good news is out. So we had a price shear sent out in the 170s, the upper 170s, and then we had an RSI overbought alert go out in the 220s, and then we started pulling back. So again, the power of these alerts are in combination with each other. No single alert can give you all the information that you want by combining different pairs. So price shear, RSI, and volume combined can tell me things about news or about correlations, things like that, just the RSI alone can't tell me. So every time we add another tool and indicator to this alert system, I'm going to be shifting my strategy on how I combine these alerts. And we did that alert update with Jason and I recently, and we're going to do that once a month, and we'll have more indicators to talk about every time we do that because we are constantly churning out more and more indicators and more ideas. Just had another idea for an indicator earlier this morning. So I appreciate you all watching. I'm going to be heading away to Miami tomorrow, spending some vacation time. And if you are sitting there with lots of profit in digital numbers on a screen, I highly suggest taking some of that and turning it into life experiences and making it all worthwhile. So I'm going to be away tomorrow through Monday. I will still be doing my best to put some videos out. We'll see if I can keep it up every day. But if not, I will certainly see you back next week as normal, and we'll see if these bulls can hold key support. I appreciate you watching. As always, make sure and do good things.